said 5 deliveries. That's the last one.
Well, Mr. Graham's very grateful for all the hard work you've been putting in over the last few weeks. Your work's done, Featherweight.
Out of all the barristers they could have given me.
Clerks know you don't like Alison Slaughter.
Yeah.
You'd never have said yes if they'd put her up for this. So they tell you can have the head of chambers, knowing full well that he can't do it. Then, the day before the trial...
I'm gutted, Mr. Stone. He's gutted, Mr. Stone. Last-minute Court of Appeal thing, we're all gutted.
But Alison Slaughter's free.
Yeah, and what choice do I have so late in the day?
OK, manslaughter's gone. We're in the house.
Don't have much option about that.
But we didn't murder her.
No.
So, she attacked us, we defended ourselves, she died. Simple.
We haven't discussed self-defence.
First thing I look for when I get a brief second-hand is there a bullshit defence I'm stuck with. It's to your credit that our instructions from Mr. Coulter are so completely useless. Forensics?
Damning.
Ours?
I've had preliminary off-the-record chats.
Basically, our man put the knife in her. Self-defence, only option. Tell me about Melanie.
Bit wild, I think, in a normal way.
Good.
Troubled, possibly. I don't know.
I want a bit wild and troubled, possibly turned into off a trolley and dangerous. I'm done here.
Yes, Mum.
Mr. Stone's been very helpful. I'm out to lunch.
I'm a solicitor, not the police force. How am I supposed to find all this?
I've given you the picture I want. Go and do the colouring in. Bring me Melanie the Nutter.
With funerals, I'm just gonna stay outside, if that's all right.
Thank you very much, Vicar.
What do you think you're doing here? But if you go anywhere near that family, I will finish your career.
I've got a job to do, Box, just like you.
What did you say?
We're both working, aren't we?
I'm looking after the family of a murder victim, making sure that they know that they have my support.
Like I said, working.
Uh-huh.
Better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad. It's beautiful, isn't it? I do love Rossetti.
I'm Lizzie.
Hello.
We haven't met before.
No. Were you a close friend of Melanie? Here's my card.
Who are you?
Melanie's death, it's not straightforward as people think. Call me.
Wakey, wakey, boys and girls. It's a lovely day. Rise and shine.
Today's the day, Sunbeam. It's a long time you're in the dock. The jury will try and avoid looking at you most of the time. Or they'll sneak little looks. Of course, because you're a murderer. And how you're looking, what you're doing, it really, really matters. I don't for a second lose concentration. And don't get caught looking wrong.
Thanks, Hooch.
Shopping. For Mr. Graham.
There's one thing Freddie Graham's terrified of. Boredom. You're that rare thing, a lad in prison with half a brain. He can't resist you.
My mum already sent in a shirt.
I know your mum. Mary. She's a decent woman. Oh, yes. She'll do her best for her son. But she doesn't know juries. She'll put in something nice. Something wedding nice. It won't be a jury show.
I already have a shirt. Thank you.
That's not a jury shirt. Here, take it off and put this one on.
Where's the barrister?
Take your shirt off.
Is she good?
Put it this way. If I'd have known she was available, I would have asked for Alison Slaughter from the off.
Ben Coulter?
Hello.
You're a vacuum. I love a vacuum.
What?
You have been no help whatsoever to anyone on the question of how Melanie Lloyd got a fatal knife into the heart.
Well,
which is splendid, because I get to fill the vacuum, and you will tell me that I'm right. We're running self-defense. She's a highly sexed, predatory, and disturbed woman. By the time I've finished with Melanie Lloyd, the jury will have her down as borderline satanic. Agreed, Mr. Stone?
Yeah. We have an advantage here. On account of her being dead, she can't contradict anything we say about her.
Can I have some time?
We're in court in 3 minutes. I need focus and clarity. She liked knives. She lured you into her nutty world. She messed around with your head. She tried to kill you. You defended yourself. She died. That's what we're running.
But that's not...
No buts. It's the only defence available to us. And it just happens to be the defence which will win us the trial and give you your life back. So, unless you're very stupid, I'm pretty sure you're going to remember things the way I'm telling it. I'll see you upstairs. Okay. We're running self-defense on the back of she was out to lunch.
Has he agreed to that?
Not yet.
We have to have instructions, don't we? We can't just make it up.
He likes you, doesn't he? So squeeze his little pips. Help him to remember what we want him to remember.
Is that ethical?
I beg your pardon.
Sorry.
She's saying self-defense.
It could be true. Could be how it happened, and you've blanked it. It's not uncommon.
I'd be saying that I killed her.
You'd be saying you caused her death, that you were in fear for your own life and had no choice. What you did was reasonable in the circumstances.
My mum and dad will be in court. Mum, Dad, I put a knife in somebody.
You do need to tell us, Ben. You need to say yes to self-defense.
You told me I shouldn't admit to anything I couldn't remember doing.
All we have to do is raise the possibility of self-defense in court. Then it's for the other side to prove that it wasn't. One nod from you and the prosecution has to work very hard to disprove you weren't defending yourself. Self-defense is your only way out. He's nearly there.
Nearly's no good.
He needs a bit longer.
All parties in court to court one.
Let's buy some time.
How?
Milady, now that the jury are in, could they be sent out again, please? Is she dead? The question my client is alleged to have asked in the back of the police car as it approached the murder scene is very damaging. I agree.
If it was said, it shouldn't have been.
He would do without it, Miss Slaughter.
And the jury should not be permitted to hear something so prejudicial in evidence.
Because you don't like it? Is there a new category of inadmissible evidence which is called the defence don't like it because it makes the defendant look guilty?
Pace says that all interviews should be conducted at the police station so that they can be tape recorded, a solicitor can be present, and the police are protected from their own tendency to make things up.
Mr. Painter.
He just said it. He wasn't prompted by anything. If it had been said as a result of a question asked in the police car by a police officer, then it would be quite wrong and wholly inadmissible. Because questions must be put in recorded interview at the police station with a solicitor present. So the police can be protected from the tendency of criminals to make things up.
I said it. The jury will hate it. We don't want them to hear it. But I said it. It's the truth. It's irrelevant.
Would Milady give me one moment with the defendant?
No. You've had all the time you need. My ruling is that this evidence is admissible. The jury will hear it.
This is a vicious, cold-blooded murder. A young girl knifed to death by a callous killer who made every attempt to hide the evidence of the brutal crime that he'd committed. Some of what you're going to hear and see is very upsetting. Murder is murder, and invariably, it's ugly.
He paid for petrol, he got back into the black cab, and they drove away.
Time's up, this is it. I can't cross-examine anyone without your instructions, so I need you to look me in the eye right now and tell me that I'm right. She attacked you, you defended yourself, she died. Yes. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. It's good enough, let's go. In your witness statement, you say that Melanie threw a cigarette butt out of the cab window at the petrol station. Is that correct?
Yes.
Reckless and dangerous, don't you think?
Where's this going, Miss Slaughter?
It's a pretty crazy thing to do.
I'm going to warn you now. We have joined-up cross-examination in my court. No lobbing hand grenades and ducking, Miss Slaughter.
I then arrested Ben Coulter for the murder of Melanie Lloyd and cautioned him.
How did his demeanour strike you?
Jumpy. Nervous.
Is this your first murder trial?
Yes, my lady.
Is this your first time in the witness box?
Yes, my lady.
Are you going to address all your answers to the judge?
Yes. My lady.
And are you going to read all your evidence from your notebook? The answer to my question about your notebook is unlikely to be in your notebook. It's supposed to be a way of refreshing your memory, not a replacement for it. Unless, of course, you've completely forgotten all about your first ever murder.
No, milady.
Who told you to address all your answers to the judge?
My boss, Detective Superintendent Box.
In what other ways did Detective Superintendent Box coach you on witness box performance?
I don't want to say.
Oh, come on, officer. The jury is dying to hear what supposedly independent police witnesses are told to say by their superiors.
I made a note.
Well, you may refer to your notebook.
He said, watch out for their QC making unsubstantiated and generalised slurs on your character, born out of the desperation which comes when a brief knows the defence is completely hopeless.
You asked the question, Miss Slaughter.
Carefully prepared as you are, officer, you'll be expecting me to cross-examine you on the verbal in the police car. Is she dead?
It would be surprising if you didn't.
Why does what the defendant said in the car make him more likely to be guilty of murder?
Because he couldn't have known there was a body unless he was in the house.
Doesn't make him a murderer, though, does it? Just puts him at the scene. Were you in the house when Melanie Lloyd died?
No.
So you can't help us with what went on inside the house in the time leading up to her death?
No.
You're in no position to contradict me when I tell you that Melanie Lloyd died as a result of Ben Coulter defending himself from her. Melanie Lloyd is dead. We all feel deeply sorry about that fact, but during this trial, we're going to hear about some very different aspects of her character. She was wild, and she was dangerous, and she went for him.
Questions, not speeches, Miss Slaughter.
Is she dead? Does that sound to you like the utterance of a cold-blooded killer? Where's the sang-froid in a remark like that?
English only, thank you.
C'est un crime passionnel, sans chaud, je pense. How long was it from the 999 call made by the neighbour as he watched the defendant drive away from the murder scene to our arrival at the scene of the crashed taxi?
I'm sure you're going to tell us, officer.
3 minutes and 26 seconds. To get from the murder scene to where he crashed the taxi in such a short time, he must have been driving at 60 miles an hour in a black cab.
Only, what, 4 minutes or so after leaving the dead body? What were you doing 4 minutes after your first sight of Melanie's body? You were throwing up in the boot of a police car. Why?
It was just how I reacted.
Is it how you hoped you'd react when put in a situation like this?
No.
Is it what your training told you to do? Was it the action of a clear-thinking man? Or was it just the response of a normal human being to a horrible scene? None of us know how we'll react in extremis, do we, officer? Very few of us have grace under pressure.
That's right.
Close proximity to violent death makes people behave deeply unpredictably. It would be foolish of us to conclude from your being sick that you are an unprofessional police officer. Just as it would be foolish of us to conclude from the fact that because you're a junior police officer, you don't speak French. And it would be incredibly foolish of us to think that the behaviour of Ben Coulter immediately after the death of this poor young girl makes him a murderer. Some people panic, lose their heads, and run away. Other people throw up in the boots of police cars. Ben Coulter was there when Melanie Lloyd received her fatal knife wound. He was responsible for the knife wound which caused her death. But he acted in self-defense, and I defy you, your notebook, or your superior officer to prove otherwise.
Is that what you're saying, that she went for him with a knife?
It's a witness giving the evidence, not the barrister.
Do you think I'm stupid?
No.
She can't answer for herself, but I can. I'll say it. You're a liar, and you make me sick. Why am I even talking to you? You don't care what she was really like.
No, I do. Really.
You have no talent for it, Ralph.
Helen!
Touched your ear, looked at the ground, licked your lips, 3 clear signs of lying.
Thought you analysed dead people for a living.
How are the feet?
Got a new beige coloured carpet put in, so the skin flakes don't show up so much. At the end of the day, you know.
Hi.
I gotta go. Bye.
Under no circumstances must a witness who has given evidence talk to a witness who is yet to give evidence. And of course in the police force that absolutely never ever happens.
Self-defence.
Well then, it's all about interpretation. It'll all get subtle, Constable. In fact, it'll all come down to nerve and performance in the witness box.
You like this, don't you, sir?
Like it? It's my raison d'etre, which is French for why I exist, young man.
Thank you, sir.
You get more good looking every time I prosecute you.
Be quiet, there's a police officer coming.
Alison Slaughter, you and me. How often have we done this?
Nervous, Detective Superintendent?
On the contrary, I'm looking forward to it.
Outside just now, you said you were looking forward to this. What do you mean by that?
The way it goes in the witness box. You try and trip me up, I duck and dive, counterpunch. It's a kind of game.
Is it? What are we doing here? An appalling murder, a devastated parent, and a young boy facing life imprisonment and years of vicious abuse in prison if he's convicted. What kind of a game are we playing, officer?
I was talking about how cross-examination goes at court. Don't pretend that I meant something else.
And what about in the smoking area at your police station? Is what goes on there a game too?
I don't know what you mean.
You intimidated the hell out of this defendant in an attempt to get him to confess to the murder of Melanie Lloyd.
No, didn't happen.
What do you call your patch of Essex? The canteen terminology?
In the map of England, where it's positioned, it looks like an arse.
And your patch?
It's an inlet on the map, the estuary. We call it the arsehole. Milady.
Would I be right in thinking that the arsehole of England is a difficult place to police?
I've known worse, but it's a hard job.
People don't talk easily to the police, but this just landed in your lap.
We were able to make a quick arrest.
You could see the guilty verdict right from the off.
The evidence is compelling.
And everything you've done, every thought you've had since that first moment when Ben Coulter walked into the role of prime suspect has been shaped to fit your opinion of him as the guilty man. Self-defence never entered your head, did it?
The accused was interviewed in the police station. He had every opportunity to tell us his side of the story.
He was too frightened to tell you anything.
He was represented by a very experienced solicitor, and we treated him properly and with respect throughout.
Oh, is that how it is in your police station in the arsehole of England? Do you expect this jury to believe that?
It's the truth.
What do you call the CPS in the canteen?
The Can't Prosecute Service.
Oh, why do you call them that?
Because any police officer in the country worth his salt will tell you they're rubbish.
You despise them because they're in your way. Am I in your way, too? Pace? In your way? The murder inquiry handbook telling you how you're supposed to conduct a murder inquiry in your way. In your dreams, you are the sheriff of Arsehole, and you are in sole and exclusive charge of the whole criminal justice system. And when you can,
That's exactly how you behave.
And why would I want to do anything like that? This case is as watertight as it ever gets. Why would I want to behave badly?
Because you needed to hear it from the horse's mouth. Because you had a little rumble going on deep inside your guts. You'd stopped thinking, but your gut, the place where your old school copper instinct lives, was gnawing away at you. Maybe he didn't murder her. It's a hideous image, officer, but your gut was at war with your brain.
No.
You wanted him to confess so that your gut ache might go away.
Is this a question or a personal attack on my character?
It's a personal attack on your character.
Miss Slaughter.
I've never asked this question before. It breaks every rule in the cross-examination rule book. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to ask a very senior police officer why he's so sure about the guilt of an accused. And I'm going to ask him to address his answer not to the judge, but to the jury.
The evidence.
But what about your gut?
The jury will arrive at their verdict on the basis of the evidence they hear, and nothing else. Court is adjourned for the day. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
We could win this, but we need some instruction. Now, you signed up to self-defense. Let's have some detail. Did she come at you? She must have. Ben?
My mum's not in court.
Your dad's here. Look at me. Did she come at you with the knife? Ben, we could win this. If you give us something, we could win. It doesn't have to be much. She came at you. What else could you do? You had to do it. Or die.
It's over here.
Zebra room of the Levens Lounge, one of Billy Holiday's favourite venues.
How'd you get on? You do what your lawyers told you to do.
Of Black America.
Growing up fast.
And what we had with the Harlem Renaissance, we really had production, sculpture.
I'm trying to chicken of the next video, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, lights, man. Yeah, bye.
Bedtime. Come on, chop chop. Come on, John.
Dad, it's me. Listen, Dad, I need to speak to Mum. Can you get her, please, quickly? I really don't have much time, Dad. Please, hurry up.
Oh.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh.
Whoa.
Sell, go.
Let's be moving, yeah. Moving along now. Get your water now.
15.
Lock up.
18.
You wouldn't come near me unless it really mattered.
Down your doors, Jen. Down your doors.
20.
Lock up now, Jen.
No, I wouldn't do this unless I was really interested in why it matters.
I need to phone my mum.
You're telling the truth. I'll get it back first thing or I'll kill you. Mum?
Mum, it's Ben.
I'll get your dad.
No, Mum, it's you I want to talk to. Why did you leave court, Mum? Why didn't you come back?
Self-defense, Ben. Is that what you did?
That's what we're saying. It's the best. It's the best thing to say, Mum.
Let's go, Bracewell.
See you, Hooch.
Yeah, bye, Paul.
I've lost my inhaler.
Every new prisoner wants to be with me.
But it's not sex. They all want their mothers, and I'm the nearest they're going to get, so they come to me.
You've got 2 inhalers.
Sorry, I forgot. Look at me. Oh.
There, that's fixed you up. But we'll
Keep you on a hospital wing for the night.
He's a paranoid schizophrenic. Every time we go into his cell, he believes we've come to take him to hell. He doesn't want to go to hell. The only safe way is to do it in riot gear. He gets out once a week.
I want you to cross-examine the expert.
Why?
Because he's very experienced, and you're not.
The knife wound on the palm of her hand. The scratch marks found on the chest of the defendant. The abrasions to the victim's posterior fourchette. The area where the inner lips of the vagina come together. All these injuries support the Crown's contention that the defendant brutally raped and then murdered Melanie Lloyd.
You're very experienced.
25 years as a forensic pathologist.
Gosh. How many times?
In court?
Yes.
I've made, on average, 12 appearances a year for 20 years, in cases ranging from serial murder to multiple rape and child abuse.
240 appearances.
Yes.
How many times have you appeared for the defense?
None.
240 times and always for the prosecution?
Yes.
How much do you get paid?
Miss Kapoor.
I am paid that which reflects my level of expertise.
12 times a year. You are paid lots of money by the Crown, and they keep coming back to you for more of your expertise.
So it would seem.
Have you ever used your very high level of expertise and found for the defense?
No.
So every single time, you have given the people who pay you very large amounts of money exactly the answers they want to hear. Gosh.
I am a witness to this court, and I stand by everything I've said. Based on everything I've looked at to do with this case and my long experience, I am as sure as anyone can be that Melanie Lloyd was raped and murdered by this defendant.
Well, lady, this is intemperate and unprofessional.
It's preposterous to suggest he did it in self-defense. Nobody with an ounce of common sense would believe this man was defending himself when Melanie Lloyd died.
Milady, that is for the jury to decide. This
He's
witness...
Right. It wasn't self-defense.
I think you better be quiet, Mr. Coulter.
I don't want this. I don't want this defense. I didn't kill her.
Jury out.
Nobody will let me speak!
Jury
For God's sake, I've been trying to speak to somebody. Nobody will listen to me.
You might need more time, milady.
Fuck me. Self-defense wasn't what I wanted.
They were your instructions.
They were your instructions about what my instructions should be.
I asked you to look me in the eye and tell me if I was wrong. You signed up.
Well, now I'm taking it back.
Then that's the end of you and me. I'll tell the judge I'm professionally embarrassed. Goodbye, Ben. Good luck. I presume you're pulling the plug too? Oh, right. You can't afford to have professional standards.
I'm pragmatic.
Is that enough? Can you look yourself in the mirror in the morning and say, I'm a pragmatist, that'll do for me?
The rest is hypocrisy.
Are you calling me a hypocrite?
He wants me to carry on my own.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, about 10 years old and absolutely terrified. And I'd really, really like to smoke about 7 cigarettes all at once. But I'm going to do it. Because for once, way too late in the day, Ben should get what he's been asking for all along.
You. And don't tell me the truth.
Judge Ira's adjourned for the day, so we've got the weekend to build a defence.
It's unlike Ira to be nice to the defence.
She's not being nice. She knows if she doesn't give me any time and Ben is convicted, our grounds of appeal will be ready-made.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to say what it is that I remember. Okay? I don't know what happened. I left the bedroom. I woke up in the kitchen. I went back up to the bedroom to say goodbye. She was dead. That's it.
Ben, the trouble is it doesn't explain anything. It just says I didn't do it. It's not a proper defence.
But it's true.
Changing everything mid-trial looks really bad. And it isn't as if it's switching to something coherent.
I'm not stupid, and I haven't changed my story. None of you have been listening to me. I know it's not a good defence. I know that. I wish to God that I could tell you something more, but I can't. I don't remember. I don't remember. That's all there is.
I believe you.
Single stab wound, murder weapon in his pocket, defence wounds found on her and on him.
Where was she found?
In bed.
How soon would a 2 p.m. be possible?
He's in the dock, she's in the ground.
The trial has started. Where's the defence expert, Stone? You didn't like their findings?
Preliminary chat only.
And you didn't like their preliminary chat?
Would you ever look at the PM? Assume someone else other than my client committed the murder and see if there's anything to support that? I'd be very grateful.
He's got to you, hasn't he? At last, someone's finally got to you.
I'm just doing my job.
You know what our problem was? Your professional life is all about looking for doubt. Mine is about searching for the truth.
Do you ever get lonely?
Never. You?
Never.
The answer's no before you ask. Let's just stick to your innocent client and leave ourselves out of it, yeah?
You'll help me then?
I'm here, aren't I?
Hello. Hiya. Do you have a copy of A Very English Hangman by Leonora Klein? It's about Albert Pierpoint.
Think so. Let me have a look.
Thank you. Hello. Oh my God, it's you.
Are you following me?
Yeah.
What do you want?
I think that you and me are probably after the same thing.
Really?
Justice. For Melanie. For her dad. For you. I have agonised long and hard about the defence we're running. I persuaded the others to drop all that stuff about Melanie being crazy. Our barrister couldn't handle what I've done, so she's gone.
So what are you saying now?
We don't know. Thank you. Which is why I'm here pretending to bump into you. We need your help.
I'll think about it.
Think about anyone else who may have wanted to hurt Melanie.
You look as though you've been here all weekend. Bottom line, Francis, you're going to lose. But we're all members of the bar, and I'd hate to see you humiliated. I know how badly you're out of your depth, so if there's anything I can help you with, just ask. Okay?
The days of defence ambushes are over. You will tell me now what your new defence is. The court and the Crown are entitled to know.
Ben Coulter did not kill Melanie Lloyd.
So far, so blindingly obvious.
Somebody else did.
Who?
The killer must have been in the house already or gained entry whilst the defendant was asleep.
Who? Mr. Painter. How does the Crown feel about all this ducking and diving?
Well, the complete U-turn by the defence halfway through a trial is something we can live with.
You mean something you'll be making a great deal of?
That's another way of putting it.
You're very junior, Miss Kapoor. I want to be absolutely sure that you and your client are happy to continue.
I'm totally sure.
Very well. Let's have the jury back in.
I want to recall PC jury. There's just one thing. Your notebook. It's a very good notebook, very detailed and all that.
Miss Kapoor, what's your question?
When did you write it?
At the first available opportunity.
Everything's still fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. Every last detail.
Excellent. This is a bit random, but here we are. The lamp was on the ground at a 60-degree angle to the bed. The Ventolin inhaler was on the bed between 9 and 10 inches to the right of the deceased's right shoulder. Very precise and exact.
Thank you.
Where's the inhaler?
9 or 10 inches to the right of the deceased.
Now. Perhaps we should ask your senior officer.
Thank you.
What is that piece of paper?
It's a list of exhibits.
Would that list include everything found at the scene relevant to the murder trial?
Yes?
You've been a police officer for 30 years.
Yes.
You know all there is to know about crime scenes.
Well, if there's one thing I know, it's how to read a crime scene.
Would you consider a personal item belonging to the defendant and found between 9 and 10 inches from the deceased body relevant to this murder trial?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that removing any item from a crime scene would be grossly unprofessional and counter to all the rules of police practice and criminal justice?
Yes.
Where's the Ventolin inhaler on that list of exhibits?
It's not there.
It's in PC Geary's notebook.
Yes.
It was there when he was the first officer on the scene.
Yes.
Who was the next person to enter the bedroom in which the body was found?
Probably me.
Where is it, officer? What did you do with the inhaler?
I took it.
You took it. You found it in her bed, and you took it. You removed a piece of evidence from a crime scene. Why would you do that?
He needed it. The defendant's asthma was causing him problems in the police station. I wanted to help him. I'm sorry.
That's a lie. That's just not true, is it? It doesn't fit. The inhaler in her bed. It doesn't fit with rape and violent murder. It looks like she wanted him in her bed. That's why you took it. You've got 30 years' experience in the police force. If you know anything, it's how to read a crime scene.
Sit down. You know, outside I have interest in many enterprises. Tropical fish, tractors. I have to keep myself engaged. So, in here, I work with the market I've got. The first days of a trial are always stressful. We brought you something to help you unwind. Roll up your sleeve.
All I want.
This is the first. You'll be back for more. Sooner or later.
Ben couldn't kill anyone, but the jury don't know it because they haven't had a good look at him.
Him being a nice kid is not going to count for anything when Painter cross-examines his convenient amnesia into the ground.
What kind of sex?
What do you mean?
No foreplay?
No, not really. It was... She was asking for it to be like that.
Melanie was asking for it.
Massive problem. Whole trial blown out the water.
What the hell's going on?
He had a problem with non-disclosure. It's gone away.
Lizzie Smith, she can tell us all about Melanie's jealous, violent boyfriend Stuart and the fight he had with Melanie's dad.
Have you any idea how I feel? I'm tired because I'm trying to stay alive.
I want your disagreements with this man to end.
Get me out of here, please. All along, I've tried to tell you the truth. I just want you all to listen.